ask one more question for each of you. And I think this is a good one, as again, it applies to all athletes, parents, young kids going to school. How do you cope with failure after a match or an event, or maybe a result in your school, a presentation or a test? So maybe we'll start with Master John. How do you deal and cope with failure?
Sure. So I think everybody's human, right? So failure is not a good feeling, right? Failure sucks. But looking at it big picture, failure will actually help you motivate yourself to become a better, whatever you're doing, an athlete, or if you're doing a presentation, like you said, or maybe a choir concert or something like that. If you failed, that should help you train even harder, motivate you more to do better and be more prepared for your next match. So I think it as a positive for sure. Thank you, sir.
Ms. Claire?
Yeah.
Thank you, Johnny. You kind of said what I was preparing to say in my mind. But just a funny story. We were holding a tournament, and I had a dad come up to me and complain. My son didn't get first place. He got third place, and he was really disappointed. And he observed and he saw the situation as a failure. And I said, listen, you put yourself out there to be judged. It's a tournament. This is part of the game. And you've gained more than you've lost. I mean, this is really not a failure. It's you've trained, you've prepared, everybody got on the same boat. And so for you to be doing that is an accomplishment, not a failure. So I don't really like the term failure because every situation is a learning lesson. I had a moment years ago when I was at World Championships and I made a mistake on stage and it cost me my medal. That was, I think, 2006 or 2007. And so it's way back. But, and of course I didn't feel good about it, but guess what? I trained, and it motivated me to just push harder and just to let people know, listen, gold medal or not, I'm not done yet. I have more to give. So it's an exciting situation. So let's not think of it as failure. Let's think of it as opportunity.
Absolutely. And you'll notice one thing, everybody, and Miss Yvette, I'll pick you next. So you're ready. One of the things you'll notice from the mindset of these amazing instructors is how they frame things. How they frame things means how you look at things. How you frame things and how you look at things is so important, and why these guys and girls are here where they're at. So I encourage you, people who are listening, to notice that that's a key theme that's being applied to the way they think at things. Think about things. Ma'am, Miss Yvette Young, how do you deal with failure? How do you cope with failure?
Well, first thing is I don't think about it as a failure. I think that, in life you can always do better. I think of it as a lesson learned and a lesson that you can look back on and, try to improve. So if I used to lose fights and as I was a child, and I'd cry about it and, pout and everything, but there's no use in doing that, because without going back and looking over your fight and thinking about all the things that you did, not wrong, but that you didn't do enough of, or you didn't, train enough of this or that, or more focus, it's not failure to me. It's just an opportunity, like Master Claire said, for you to get better and to, succeed.
Yeah, and so these we'll have two more. The last two instructors answer the same question, and I prefer if maybe, sir, Coach Tim and Mr. Stephen sharing a story on failure, because I think that also resonates a lot with folks. So you've seen a lot of these themes that your colleagues have shared. Can you share an example of failure? You touched on one, Coach Tim, and maybe let people know how that failure brought you to where you're standing right now.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, I was a fairly good athlete as a younger kid, but I didn't know fighting taekwondo is the modern sport of it. So I had a lot of really bad habits, but because I was kind of a good athlete, I could get by. And what happened was, all of a sudden you get a little older and people now knew what they were doing. So because I was too pig-headed to start, I was doing what I always did, and I hit this part where I couldn't win matches anymore. And it looked like, for me, again, like I said, 15 to 17 years old, I lost every single match for 2 years. And it's not a metaphor, I came in second place there. I mean, the first round of states, junior, senior, if I was fighting, I couldn't win. And everyone says, oh, that's horrible, right? So what did it do for me? Well, I got desensitized to losing. I could go out and start training things I needed to do to get better as a senior. I knew my goal. I wanted to be on the adult national team. I wanted to be a world medalist. I had all these big goals I wanted to do. And I could go out and I could start trying some of the drills my coaches would do for me without having to hold on to, I got to win, but I got to win. Well, winning doesn't tell us what to do. Winning is the outcome. So we have to focus on the input. So for me, I started focusing more on the input of my training. It made me really fall in love with training. It's my favorite part of the day still. And not, oh, well, I'll enjoy this if I get some external feedback. I mean, I get a medal in 6 months, then I'll love it. Then I'll think I'm okay. Then I'll think I'm a good person. No, I'm good as I love training. I get to be with my friends, and some of these people on the call are some of my best friends in the world. So I get to do this with them, not because, oh, we'll get 1,000 people on. Because we get to share our passion for this. So it really made me get really clear at a younger age of that. And then when I'd lose, we'd come back and I'd go, okay, cool. I learned this. I've learned this. And so what happened was the other people that were on, say, the junior national team that now got more attached to winning at a little older age, they couldn't change.
Right.
And I realized that my game was to change. And I could change now, and I could keep changing. And I think that's back to the other question, how did I get here, is I've kind of been able to change what I do, whether I'm a coach or I'm in Taekwondo. I run a martial arts school now. I'm online doing strength and conditioning. Like, I'm not as attached to, I'm someone I'm gotta win this Saturday. Like, it's gonna work out, you know? I think everyone here has that same story. You hear how Yvette said that. You hear how Claire said that these things gave us info to move forward, not that it's finite. Like, that Saturday is the end. It's not.
Right. So I think that the key theme I picked up there is adaptability, right? Is just this ability, and what we're doing now with the coronavirus, being adaptable and even adapting now as we get more information and what to do next. It's a new world. And so just constantly learning from whatever happened, right or wrong, and adapting, again, that's another champion's mindset that applies not just on the mat, but in your school as well, or in your work or in your personal relationship. Master Stephen Lambden, you got the last word here before we sign off. And before we do that, I just got word by your guys' amazing teaching, you raised another $2,000 somehow. So we're at 7,000.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you, guys. I guess people saw value in what you taught, and they just wanted to give money to the cause. So thank you, everybody. So, sir, Mr. Stephen Lambden, your thoughts on failure, and how did you cope with it?
I'm glad I got to go last for this because I'm on everybody. As far as like ultimate failure story, to put it in perspective, I lost my first match at the Olympics, right? Like, not only did I lose my first match at the Olympics, I was winning until the last 5 seconds. Like, if there's somebody that can tell you about dealing with disappointment or failure, it's me. And the priority that, fortunately, I tell people, because right after that, you know, journalists and stuff like that come stick microphones in your face. Oh my God, how are you feeling? And we've all seen that interview where certain athletes just like lose it. And they're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing that ever happened. And it was like, I was upset for about 5 minutes. That's what I tell people. And I got to get the what? Like, it was the Olympics though. Fortunately, I had the benefit of being surrounded by really great athletes like Tim. Tim was my mentor whenever I first made the team, whenever my mom was signing my contracts. And one of the things that that great athletes hammer home is you can't control results. Like, who knows what the chest guard's doing? You could show up and just get beat. Like, that happens. Like, I lost at the Olympics. Where we keep from going insane is when we reframe it, like everybody said, and start focusing on our effort. We can't control results, but we can control our effort. I tell people I slept like a baby that night after the Olympics because I literally gave it everything I got. And you know what? I haven't had a bad night's sleep about it since because, like I said, I'm focused on the effort. And as long as you're focused on what you can control, the rest of it will fall in line eventually.
Wow, amazing.